inside monogamy's philosophies of one and only, constantly stopping me from boundlessly expressing what is possibly the greatest force in all of me. My heart cannot be property. Ownership is opposite of all that love has taught to me.
Hi. So today we're going to be talking about love languages. There is a book called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. He has multiple books. There's also one about the 5 love languages of children. And although the book focuses on monogamous couples, married couples in particular, and it's pretty heteronormative, the general concept of the love languages is important and beneficial to everybody. So that is why we are discussing them today. So first I wanted to just go over what the different 5 love languages are to give you a basis for what we're talking about. So the first one is words of affirmation, which is basically just, telling somebody, you appreciate them and, acknowledging their efforts, thanking them for things, using your words to build the other person up is the definition for that one. That could also mean, stating your feelings of love for them, or, encouraging, supporting, otherwise, showing your love and care for them and the things that they do, just using your words to show you care, to show your love, which seems somewhat straightforward, but that I feel like is the love language that often gets kind of thrown out the most, unless it is your love language. The problem with it is that people get so used to having partners around, or friends or family or whoever, that they have a difficult time remembering to, acknowledge and thank people for things that they do. It's like, if you live with someone and they take the trash out all the time, or they're always the one doing the dishes, you just get used to okay, that's what they do. And somebody whose love language is words of affirmation, they need to be acknowledged for those things, and it doesn't have to be continuously, but just remembering to point those things out, and appreciate them for the things that they do, is really important. The next love language, would be gifts, and again, pretty straightforward. Giving somebody something. Some people that is the way that they express love, and that's the way that they best receive love. It doesn't have to be going out and buying something super expensive. It could be making something yourself, but just giving something meaningful to that person, and it helps them know that you were thinking about them, and it makes them feel like you know who they are, what they like, and that can be a really meaningful thing for a lot of people. Number 3 would be acts of service, which is just doing something that that they would like. If you live with them, cleaning up around the house, vacuuming, doing dishes, sweeping, cleaning the bathroom or whatever, especially stuff that, that they particularly don't like doing, or if they're really exhausted or whatever, doing something to help out is, a way to show that you care about them. Also cooking them a meal. If you don't live with somebody, there's other ways to express that, but just doing something that they like, that they would, appreciate you doing, it is a way to show love. The next love language is quality time. So spending quality time with someone, giving them your undivided attention. And this can be done in a multitude of ways. One obvious way is, talking and listening, having a conversation. That is one of the dialects of quality time, because there's different everybody has a love language and they have a dialect of that language. And for me, that's my dialect. Is my love language is quality time, and my dialect is quality conversation. So, dialoguing with somebody is the way that I most feel loved. When somebody takes their time to really focus on having a conversation with me, that is really meaningful to me. But I mean, there's other ways to, have quality time with someone, just being really present in the moment, going out and doing something that you guys enjoy, being there, being present with that person is, spending quality time with them. And for somebody whose love language is quality time, that's really important. A lot of today's society, you get just so bogged down with so much crap that you have to do, and everybody's always looking at their phones, and that can be really, really difficult for somebody who has quality time as their love language, because when somebody's always like checking their phone every couple seconds, it feels like like you're not focusing on me, you don't care. And I mean, maybe the other person really does care, and it's just that's not their love language, so they don't understand. But for somebody who that's their love language, it's really important to be able to have time, and it doesn't have to be all the time, but some time with that person where it's really, you're focused on them, and you are spending time with them, and not like with your brain all over the place doing other things. The last love language is physical touch, and that can be holding hands, hugging, kissing, having sex. It can be any form of physical affection, caressing any skin, just, touching somewhere on the body, snuggling, any sort of physical contact can be included. And I mean, it's the type of physical contact that a particular person prefers or enjoys. I mean, it'll differ from person to person, but that's the general concept of what physical touch is. And a lot of people get this one confused. A lot of people get this one confused when, they really want to have sex a lot, and they're like, oh well, it's just my love language is physical touch, and we have to have sex, we have to have a lot of sex. And I mean, it's fine to really enjoy sex and to want that, but just wanting sex is not the same as having a love language that is physical touch, because physical touch involves a whole lot more. Requiring your partner to show you love just by having sex that's not the same thing as showing you love. I mean, that can be part of it, but if that's all it is, then that is not your love language. And I wanted to just kind of emphasize the importance of understanding your love language and other people's love languages, because without understanding how you best receive love, it's hard for you to tell people, what your wants and needs are in a relationship. When it comes to that, you'll feel just like, they don't love me, they're not showing me love, but without understanding what it is you're actually wanting from them or needing from them, you can't express that to them, and you don't understand, there isn't a way for you to decipher, like, what's going on, why is this not happening for me. So it's really important for you to understand yourself in that way, and it's important for you to understand other people in that way, so that you can show them love in the way that they best receive it. And also just learning about the different love languages and learning about, the ways that people around you best receive it can, also help you understand and recognize when somebody is showing you love in their love language, even if it's not in your love language, and so maybe it's not maybe it's not what you're wanting necessarily, but it can help you recognize when people are trying to show you love, and and understand that and accept that as, like, they are attempting, they're putting in effort, for you, and maybe they don't understand that they're not doing it in the way that you want, but they're trying, and they are trying to show you love, even even if it's not always being received that way. And being able to recognize your love language can help you decipher, your wants and needs in that respect, and that can help you determine whether or not you're willing to stay in a relationship or get into a relationship with someone, based off of whether or not you feel that that you'll be able to feel loved by that person. And I mean, I think that's important. And we also have to think about the fact that, I mean, you have to consider that it's a skill set, each love language. If it's your love language, then that comes naturally to you, that, I mean, what they say in the book and everything is, the way that you most often express love is typically your love language and the way that you're wanting to receive it, and so it's important to consider the fact that it's a skill set that you need to learn in order to show other people love in the way that they want to be loved. And it's, that being said, it's a skill set for everyone else as well. So, if you are with somebody whose love language isn't the same as yours, you have to communicate with them what your love language is, what your needs are, what your wants are, and allow them time to, learn how to love you in that way, to develop that skill. Otherwise, they're not just going to get it right off the bat. And maybe just telling them, they'll be able to be like, they'll be able to just kind of transition into loving you that way. But for some people, it doesn't come naturally like that. And it's a skill set. They need to practice it and they will get better, you know? And I mean, the hope is that just if things don't click right away and they aren't working, that if you communicate with your partner, that they will want to put in that effort to love you the way you want to be loved. And I mean, of course, there's times where people are like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I mean, that's fine. Then the relationship ends. They weren't a good partner for you anyway. But, you have to put in effort for them and they have to put in effort for you. And I mean, that's what a partnership is. It's both of you putting in your time and your effort, and really giving it a shot. I've had encounters with people where they feel that trying to express love in a way that's not natural for them is going against who they are as a person, or it's too difficult, they're incapable of doing that. And the issue with seeing it that way is that it's not like that at all. Like I said, it's a skill set. Learning how to love in different ways, to express love in different ways that you're not used to, is the same as learning how to communicate in ways that you're not used to. It's a skill set, and learning those things doesn't change your identity. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change your being. Saying that, oh, I don't want to learn that because it'll change who I am, and don't try and change me, is a really ignorant way to look at that. And you're just shutting down, personal growth and your ability to connect with a more diverse array of people. The last thing I wanted to just touch base on is that a lot of people think that if they just date other people who have the same love language, then they can eliminate having to put in any actual effort to learn how to love somebody else. And while I appreciate that half-ass way of going about relationships, you have to put in effort with anybody, no matter how similar they are to you. You're gonna need to communicate, and you're going to need to learn things about them and about yourself, and you're gonna have to put in work regardless. And I'd like to point out the fact that even if you have the same love language, you might have a different dialect of that love language, or even if you have the same dialect, it still might be slightly different. There are a billion ways to love somebody, to express and to receive love. And everyone has preferences, and that's just a fact of life. So even if you both have physical touch as your love language, one person might love to cuddle and the other person might hate cuddling. One person might really love, kissing or holding hands or being coupley. One person might hate public affection. It's all really different for each person, and you're gonna have to take that into account regardless of who you end up dating. So not dating somebody just because they have a different love language than you is kind of a bullshit reason not to be with somebody. If you love somebody and care about them, then you should put in the effort, regardless of what that means. And if you're not willing to put in the effort, maybe you should think twice about dating anybody at all, or adding more partners if it's just the additional work that's the problem, or whatever it is. You know, anytime that you are saying, I am not willing to put in the work here, you really need to look at the reasoning behind that, because there's something going on with you and it has nothing to do with the other person, and you need to really analyze what it is you're needing to do for yourself. And that's the best advice I can give you for that. My hair won't stay up. I should have brought some hairspray. All I brought was gel, and it was a mistake. I guess I could use the glued or whatever, because my hair is not staying up high enough. I'm not happy about it. I want it to be spikier. Oh well. Stay here. Oh, see, we got like a whole rooster thing going on over here. Oh well. Too bad. Alright, well, to wrap up this discussion, I'm going to show you a video of a gopher. Completely unrelated to the topic whatsoever, but it was pretty cool. So, check this out. Here you go, Gopher. You take the stick. Blowing my mind right now.
Here you go. Grab me.
Here you go, Gopher. Here you go.
Come back.
Here you go. You want that one? Oh, grab a long one.
I want to get that one to him. I'll get that one to him. Here you go, Tizzy. You get that one to him.
Okay, I'll see if he wants this one.
You get that one to him. You get that one to him.
I'll see.
Where'd he go? And where'd he go? And then, here you go. Here you go.
Here, have this one.
Had that one. He had that one. He was the reason. Hi.
Okay, don't stick your fingers on him.
Hey, this time, where is he? Look. Hi, little Gopher.
Gopher.
Hi. You came back and he came back.
He's cleaning out his hole. He's
Yeah.
pushing the dirt out.
Hi. Hi, little. Hi, little Snuff.
Hi, little Gopher.
Hi. Oh, man. He came back.
Yep, he's pushing out the dirt. He's cleaning out his hole.
Mm-hmm.